So, in what I personally thought, and what I kind of think or thought was a common sense position, was like, hey, birthright citizenship is a thing. It is an amendment. It is clearly stated, as we're going to read here after we read this NPR article. And like, it's pretty plain faced and easy to understand. Like, this really isn't an argument, and Trump trying to end it via executive order, like this should be like a clean cut, like, no. I thought that was obvious, and we'll read the amendment itself, like the actual amendment, after we read this NPR article. But in the great United States, in what is like, we're like literally the new Soviet Russia, like everything's backwards. So the Supreme Court justices appear divided in birthright citizenship arguments. Oh boy. The U.S. Supreme Court seemed at least partially divided on Thursday as the justices heard more than 2 hours of arguments debating how the lower court should handle President Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. Trump has long maintained that there is no such thing as birthright citizenship, but the Supreme Court ruled otherwise 127 years ago. The court said then and since then that the text of the 14th Amendment, enacted after the Civil War, says that all babies born in the United States are automatically U.S. citizens. Undaunted, Trump, on his first day of office, had issued the executive order declaring that children of parents who entered the U.S. illegally or on a temporary visa are not entitled to automatic citizenship. Insane. Like, this is so clear, and we're going to read it after this. Immigrant rights groups in 22 states sued, and 3 different federal district court judges invalidated Trump's order, issuing what are called universal injunctions, barring the administration from enforcing the Trump policy anywhere in the country. When the courts of appeal refused to intervene while the litigation proceeded, the Trump administration asked the Supreme Court to block universal injunctions altogether. The admission asserted that single district judges should not have broad authority, so on Thursday, the court heard emergency arguments in the case. The court's conservatives didn't entirely tip their hands, while some of them have called for the abolition of 3 nationwide injunctions in the past. On Thursday, they didn't seem so certain, especially after Solicitor General D. John Sawyer opened his argument insisting Trump is right in saying the 14th Amendment has been wrongly interpreted for 127 years. Yeah, we've just been casually interpreting the 14th Amendment, one of the most clearly stated amendments, wrong all this time. Yeah, it just all this time. Imagine for 1 second that some gun control activist came and said, hey, we've been misinterpreting the Second Amendment wrong for the past 200 years. You see, where it seems, where it says right to bear arms, it means like bear arms, like we can cut off bear arms and like trophy them and stuff. Or like a more reasonable straw man or whatever take of it you want to say is, so it says, a citizen has the right to bear arms, and then it goes on to say a like well and regulated militia. Sorry, I'm not some Second Amendment absolutist that has this like memorized to heart. But basically, there's an argument where you could make like, no, like it's referring to a state-sponsored militia. So something, I don't want to necessarily say the National Guard, but like a militia that's recognized by the state. They have the right to bear arms. Like, imagine if, I'm not making that argument. I'm trying to, in a way, steelman that argument. I'm in no way a gun control activist, so don't get that interpretation here. But just imagine if someone made that argument. Republicans would lose their fucking mind and then like scream like the Constitution is in jeopardy and all this. Like, okay, sorry, I just have to point out hypocrisies. It's my nature. This order reflects the original meaning of the 14th Amendment, which guarantees citizenship to the children of former slaves, not to illegal aliens or temporary visitors, he argued. Yeah, except it doesn't say that. He then went on to say that the judges who temporarily barred the enforcement of Trump's policy exceeded their authority under the Constitution. Justice Sonia Sotomayor posed the question, if a new president decided to seize all guns in the country, would we and the courts have to sit back and wait until every plaintiff whose gun is taken comes into court? Justice Elena Kagan followed up posting the question to Sawyer. Let's just assume you're dead wrong. How do we get a single rule of citizenship that we're historically applied, that we've historically applied rather than the rule would have us do? When Solicitor General Sawyer later hedged on whether the administration is committed to abiding by any court ruling, Justice Amy Coney Barrett leaned forward. Did I understand you correctly to tell Justice Kagan that the government wanted to reserve its right to maybe not follow a circuit court precedent, say in New York, because you might disagree with the opinion? And that's exactly, like, if their whole argument is if we disagree with their ruling, we shouldn't have to follow it. Like, that's literally it. You never seen these guys making the arguments when courts were blocking parts of Biden's agenda or even like Obama's agenda. No, it's Trump. And before you even say, well, Trump has like the most historic, like there's never been more court cases and injunctions by any president ever from the courts. Well, yeah, okay, I see you and I agree with you, but we've also not had a president just brazenly break the law, or at best, the steelman your argument, the tiptoe on legal gray area, even though it's not gray at all. Like, this is just, he's blatantly doing illegal shit. But anyways, like, when you do that, of course, courts which are supposed to uphold the Constitution, they're going to step in. That is the entire point. Not only are you doing a bunch of illegal things, you are just doing a lot of things, as you said yourself. And as you can see, like, you've issued, like, I think, if not the most, close to the most executive orders in the first 100 days of office of, like, anyone ever. Like, you're churning them out. So just by nature, of course, you're going to have more pushback from the courts just from the pure volume of what you're doing. And if you would just reasonably take your bias glasses off and realize that, hey, he's doing a lot of stuff that directly goes against our laws and Constitution. So, of course, the courts are going to block it. I digress. In a reply, Sawyer said there are circumstances when it is not a categorical practice. Other justices pressed Sawyer further. Justice Brett Kavanaugh asked a series of practical questions such as, what do hospitals do with a newborn? What do states do with a newborn? Federal officials will have to figure that out, Sawyer answered, prompting Kavanaugh to ask, how? Sawyer said the administration could require documentation showing that the parents are legally in the country. For all newborns, Kavanaugh asked, replied Sawyer. We just don't know. These people, excuse me if you heard me burp. These people are pathetic. Like, it's crazy. Like, God. Justice Kenton G. I should know that name, but I don't. Brown Jackson interjected. Your argument seems to turn our justice system into a catch-me-if-you-can kind of regime, where everybody has to have a lawyer and file a lawsuit in order for the government to stop violating people's rights. That's exactly right. Sawyer suggested that litigants could bring class actions instead of individual lawsuits, but lawyer Jeremy Feinbaum, representing the states, responded, it's going to produce unprecedented chaos on the ground. Justice Samuel Alito noticed that there are 680 district court judges in the country, and if all of them could impose nationwide injunctions, that might produce chaos too. But upon consideration, Alito didn't seem satisfied with Sawyer's notion that class actions would be better. So the answer is that the practical problem would not be solved, Alito said, adding, if that's the case, what is the point of this argument about universal injunctions? Chief Justice John Roberts noted there may be benefits to allowing appeals courts enough time to rule on the merits of a case before the issue makes its way up to the Supreme Court, which, as he noted, can happen rather quickly in emergency cases. A decision in the case is expected by early summer. Jesus, man, we just move so slow. Like, this should just be clear cut. Was I and a lot of other leftists very frustrated with the courts during Biden's administration, especially when they were blocking the student debt relief, the loan forgiveness program that Biden was rolling out. Yeah, that was frustrating, especially because I genuinely believe there's at least 2 or 3 different ways Biden can legally forgive those loans, constitutionally, legally. And, it is annoying when some fucking judge in Texas is like, nah. But the law is the law. And you didn't have the Biden admin threatening to impeach judges or even tiptoeing near that area or saying that, yeah, lower courts, you don't matter. I think it should stay as it is, and if there's some emergency problem, take it straight to the Supreme Court. Like, let's just start churning out decisions if we need to. Like, this whole idea of, like, treating it like this is a months-long issue, like, Jesus Christ. Like, some of this is so clear-cut and dry. Anyways, as promised, the 14th Amendment, Section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States, all persons, in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. It's like a double whammy that the Trump administration is breaking between black bagging people and obviously trying to get rid of the birthright citizenship. In all fairness, I think this is for like states, not the federal government. I think the federal government due process guarantee is through the Fifth Amendment, I want to say. Anyways, I digress. It's as clear as day. All persons. It doesn't say slaves. It doesn't even hint at slaves. I don't care when it was done. I don't even care what the person who wrote it said. Okay, if what, like, it's as clear as day. What is there is there. Okay, if it was supposed to be for slaves, it would have mentioned former slaves or slaves, etc. But it says all persons. All. I don't know what you want me to tell you. This is a fun one. I like to read every time I come across it because it's just so ironic considering the situation we're in right now. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. No wonder Republicans really hate this amendment. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of the president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States, or as a member of any state legislature, or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. Yeah, I like to point that out because, like, Trump obviously aided and abetted the people engaged in January 6th to the fact where they all got a fat pardon once he got back into office. So that's crazy. But hey, we are the new Soviet Russia, and it is what it is, I suppose. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.